Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, and I'm here to close the book on the soft cover-sized boxes of Mastermind Creations' azalea-bodied fembots. Eupatorium and Salvia Prominon brought new tooling, new colors, and new identities to the azalea design. So let's see if it was all worth it, man! Eupatorium is the Elita 1 of Reformatted, and at a glance it's pretty easy to think that she might have used some of the regular azalea's pink plastic. But I can assure you, she shares 0 shades of pink with Azalea, using a slightly more flesh-toned and pale hue of the color to go with her candy cane combo of red and white. I friggin' love the stark red panel lining on her white thigh plates. As for new tooling, Eupatorium has Zinnia's additional shoulder pad pieces, mixing solid and translucent red parts, and a brand new noggin that is properly wide, boxy, and fin-tenned. The head sculpt is geometrically calmer than Elita 1's own cartoon design and uses a great combo of metallics to pick out her face, eyes, and lips. Eupatorium's other piece of new tooling is stored on her butt flap. She's got a miniature bow weapon that unfolds and looks like it totally shoots energy arrows, because there are no actual arrows included. You can also attach it to one of her 2 pistols to form a crossbow gun, which I think looks way better. By the way, 2 pistols and a foldable mini bow are Eupatorium's only weapons, as she lacks Azalea's twin swords. Salvia Prominon lacks Eupatorium's mini bow, but includes everything else and more. She also has a new head sculpt along with a new translucent chest plate and a new pair of shoulder pad additions that have a lot more flair to go with her Prominon status. Also, her color scheme is fantastic, using a very pale metallic gold, a similarly pale lilac, and gorgeous translucent seafoam green bits to complete her otherworldly pantheonic appearance. Salvia's head sculpt is face-plated and straight-up crowned, what with her being a borderline divine entity of sorts. As I mentioned, she includes all the basic Azalea weaponry, with her own swords featuring seafoam laser blades that make me feel wonderful feelings. Her own unique weapon is a forge hammer, which is smaller than its usual physical manifestations, but properly sized for Salvia's own proportions. It looks badass metallic and ready to call down the thunder! The transformation experiences on these 2 new Azalea alikes are nothing new, though I did expect Eupatorium's larger head to give me trouble. It's a tighter fit, to be sure, but it's nothing that threw me off course. Of course, I'm also a lunatic who doesn't find the Azalea transformation particularly insane now that I've done it so many times, so take my word for however it is you take it. Eupatorium uses the parts-forming nose cone approach to her shoulder flaps, but otherwise leaves the rest of her alt mode in the normal Azalea hovercar shape. And man, her colors were real interesting in robot mode, and now they are just a giant block of red. Like, there are solid and translucent reds intermixed throughout, but at a glance, her alt mode looks almost like an unpainted prototype. The shoulder flap nose cone, at the very least, needed some kind of detailing. I would have loved to see, like, stark white panel lining on those solid red parts, kinda like a mirror of her thigh pieces in robot mode. Salvia Prominon goes full Azalea jet mode for her own intended transformation, and mixes up the weapon placements a little in order to store her forge hammer, which does more than just plug onto her chassis. It separates, with the handle finally making use of that mysterious slot on the Azalea stomach sculpt, while the hammerhead compresses and loads up in the rear, looking kinda like a power turbine. Salvia's alt mode looks like the polar opposite of Eupatorium's, loaded with varied color placement and coming off incredibly dynamic. I love that the translucent seafoam plastic makes one last appearance to give her side-mounted winglets some extra futurism. Now that I've got the 5-member Azalea squad all lined up and pretending that the 6th Shadow member doesn't exist because I never got a hold of one, I think that these 2 new additions stack up all right. Eupatorium is definitely a lower tier member, chilling out in the bottom of the rankings just above Zinnia. Her new head, unique weapon, and lovely robot mode colors give her a big edge for sure. And she's probably the nicest looking Elita 1 on the market right now. But man, her alt mode's color layout is dire, and I don't know if her mini bow is a good enough trade to ditch having any swords. Salvia Prominon, though, she's far and away my new favorite of the bunch. The color scheme just speaks to me, and the translucent seafoam green components are gorgeous regardless of my personal cold palette biases. Her colors play wonderfully with her alt mode, and the sheer number of accessories that she includes makes her by far the best value proposition of any of the reformatted fembots. You may have character preferences that dictate additional biases to consider, but setting all that aside, if you only want one version of this mold, make it Salvia. She just brings it all together in my opinion. And, like, technological godhammers are sexy, man. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and I hope this video has helped you in forming your own worldview on the greater population of female robots that all sort of look like RC from the neck down. This is it for Azalea retools and redecos as far as I've heard, and that's cool. 5 members makes a proper Super Sentai team. What? No, there's no 6th member. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I almost forgot. Salvia Prominon also comes with green flaps for Zinnia, who didn't have flaps. She was the only one who didn't have flaps. Now she has flaps. I'm tired of saying flaps. You're tired of hearing flaps. Flaps!